Hey y'all, Uncle Jimmy here. When you speak for yourself, you're forced to think for yourself. And when you think for yourself, the sports world looks different. In order to enjoy this podcast and this show, you need to have the courage to look at the world from alternative points of view and not be offended when you disagree. Speak for yourself isn't your Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram feed. SFY tells you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. So, welcome aboard, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
Welcome to Speak for Yourself, presented by Hyundai. I'm Marcellus Wiley. Whitlock is off today again. But coming up, we'll tell you if there's any concern about LeBron and the Lakers losing to the Nets last night. Right now, I'm joined by Fox NFL analyst LeVar Arrington, Mark Schlereth, and Fox college football analyst and Super Bowl champion and good-looking dude, Reggie Bush. Let's start.
He get all that?
Yeah, it's impromptu. I got to read it.
Wait a minute. I want a Super Bowl or two. my chopped liver up in the.
Let's start with someone who hasn't won.
Hey, I think you look good too.
Dak
Thank you.
Prescott, man. Let's get to Dak, man. He's trying to get his Super Bowl, whose contract talks have heated up this week. According to reports, the Cowboys initially offered the quarterback a deal worth $33 million a year, but now it sounds like Dallas has actually upped their offer. And reportedly, the latest deal on the table is worth even more than the 4-year, $134 million contract Jared Goff got from the Rams. So the question is, would it be a mistake for Dak to turn this offer down? Now, I'm going to answer this and change my answer, which has been on record for a long time of saying Dak hold out, Dak hold out. I'm saying it's time to sign.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because you know what? Sometimes we get lost in this studio, this big glass table, these nice suits that we didn't pay for, and we forget how it feels to be in that moment. Yeah. When you're sitting there with that NFL contract we've all signed and it says year one. And I never saw one that said 3, 4, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, or more. So when you're sitting there and your career earnings are only $4 million, and it's time to look at that piece of paper that says $34 million. A lot of things I have to drop. I have to drop the mindset that I'm trying to catch up to Carson Wentz and Jared Goff in terms of total money. You're not. If they keep pace, they're going to make more in their career than you. I have to stop thinking about, oh, you know what? I want to be the highest paid. And maybe that's a CAA influence and Todd Francis. We just want to set the headline, we're the highest paid. I got to drop that because I have to realize now only Russell Wilson and Ben Roethlisberger will be in my neighborhood. And that's good enough for me. If I come in at third, but I take first place money home, which is $34 million plus annually, Dak, I'm changing my tune. I hope you change yours. Sign that.
I'm keeping my tune the same, and I'm going to say no, he should not look at this as he's going down mistakes road. And the reason being is, you're starting to see Dallas ramp up, right? You're starting to see them make that move to say, we really need to get this done. And it's showing Dak and it's showing his representation that they actually have played this right. The mistake would have been saying, we're going to sign it earlier. And you signed it and you moved on from there. So I think you've held on to it this long. You keep moving into the future because think about it. If you get that exclusive franchise tag put on you, you're getting somewhere roughly around $33 million.
You're getting this, yeah.
You're getting somewhere close to what they're offering you, a multi-year deal with almost the same money you're going to get with a short-term deal. So you get that short-term deal, you get a major markup in your payroll, but you're also setting yourself up to be able to negotiate a longer-term deal that's based off of the new numbers that will be coming down the lane on that CBA deal.
Okay, but I think also the one thing we're forgetting within that is Dak Prescott has been one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league. Year in and year out. He gets hit a lot. And so you plan on that franchise tag, but what if he gets hurt?
It's dangerous.
What happens to that? What if he gets hurt in that franchise, that year he's playing on that franchise tag? Then what happens to that next year contract, right? Because we don't forget because we know we played the game, but sometimes I think other people may forget that there's a 100% injury rate in this game. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And so the other thing we're also discounting is Dak plays in Texas. Texas has what? No state tax. So even if he get the same deal as or a little bit less money than Jared Goff, he's still gonna make more on the back end.
Yeah. I'd say I look at the gambling on yourself. What'd you say? He made $4 million?
4 points
over 2 years.
Right. He'll make $33 million on the franchise tag. That's already generational changing money, right? on a guy that's made $4 million total. Then the next year, the projection for the cap from a franchise tag standpoint is $40.1 million. The following year is $57. So that's a 3-year, $134 million deal if he just goes franchise tag like Kirk Cousins did. Now you got to gamble on yourself, right? The way they protect quarterbacks, you know, can you survive? You'll probably survive. Listen, you're in the driver's seat because they need this sign because they don't want to use that franchise tag on you. They want to use it on one of their other players, be it Amari Cooper, be it Byron Jones, right? They want to be able to use that franchise tag elsewhere. So to me, I say continue to hold out, continue to figure out what you can get the overall best deal you can get, because ultimately, I think you have to set the bar.
I will say this: the only thing that came to mind that could go wrong is when you thought it's almost like the Deontay Wilder-Tyson Fury fight, right? Deontay thought he was going to go in there and just knock him out, right?
Right.
So this could be a tad bit of overconfidence on Dak and his team going into this situation. And imagine if they allowed him to test the open market.
Oh.
Well, that's a possibility.
If they allow,
because they can always match it.
If they allow him, well, what if they don't tag him? Right. What if they allow this man to test the open market and the market says your price is $20 million.
Yeah.
Your price is $19 million. Yeah. Now you're going to say on the other side of it, 20/20 hindsight, you should have took that money and ran.
Yeah, see, it's unsettling no matter where you land. Think about it right now. If Dak signs this deal, he's going to say, okay, I'm making less than Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger, but hey, I'm making more than I've ever made in my life. So I can't compare myself to others, because even if you sign the highest paid deal in NFL history, next year, if not this year with Patrick Mahomes, someone's coming. Yeah. So you can always look at your deal with a negative or a positive situation. And the connotation, if I'm Dak, I have to look at it like I'm not betting on myself in a sport where everyone takes an L in terms of injury and health. I signed a big deal when I went to San Diego and got hurt as soon as I signed that deal and played well, but still was like, woo.
Glad I got that deal.
Boy, I got that deal because as soon as you make the money, they're looking upstairs to try and take the money. They're trying to get it back, restructuring somehow, some way. It's rare that you get a deal like this and you sit there comfortably. Yeah. You have to realize, if you're Dak Prescott, get to that place and let's deal with those set of circumstances once you sign it.
Where does greed and value?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Greed versus value, which one is going to win here, right? And where does that fine line become blurred between greed and value? And I think that's what he's going to have to figure out.
I think the total money that we've heard the report on, the 105 guarantee, right, which I think was Jared Goff was about 110, 112. Yeah. You know, does he sign this 4-year deal like Jared Goff if he gets 112 like Jared Goff did? Would he sign it? I don't know. I think he would. I think he wants to set the new market, even though you know you're going to get usurped by Mahomes, but I think he wants to set the new market.
Just have that headline for a day, a week, a month, whatever it may be.
Right.
Well, let's talk about another quarterback who always garners headlines, and that's Tom Brady. The GOAT is expected to test free agency for the first time this year, but reportedly Brady's interest in other teams outweighs the interest other teams have in him. Brady's resume speaks for itself, but he'll be 43 when next season starts. So the question is, are you surprised teams aren't interested in him? What I'm not surprised is how the media has this new math of trolling and putting a player in a bad light when they're basically being disingenuous and deceptive with their baseless reporting. Yeah, I said that sentence. Because who knows who's really interested in Tom Brady in the first place? There have been reports of he should go to the 49ers. Tom Curran says this. And that was just a hunch. That was just a feeling. It was baseless. I think he could go to the 49ers. And then all other teams started to, well, what if he goes here? What if he goes there? But in reality, it's about which teams are truly interested in Tom Brady and what teams are Tom Brady truly interested in. I give you an example of when I was getting drafted, 28 of 30 teams showed up at my pro day, did interviews and everything. 2 teams were missing. One of them drafted me. The point is, you don't know what's going on before the process even starts. So I really have an issue not with Tom Brady or the lack of interest. I have an issue with the deception that he should go anywhere when in reality it's probably a 2-3 team race, and that's what we should just be focused on.
Look at it from this perspective, because I feel like it's going to make a whole lot of sense, right? if there was a lady out there, say several, 4 to 5 maybe, and they have an opportunity to possibly gain Tom Brady's attention.
Oh, Whitlock's back.
Will I
This is a Whitlock.
will I gauge the situation I currently have and look out there at these other prospects and leave what I have to go to a new situation?
Bird in the hand.
I just it's not even bird. You have Giselle, right? You tell me what other person out there is going to measure up to what you already have.
She lives
right?
in LA and she got a new
No,
house
she
too.
don't.
She got a new house. She bad.
You talking about? No,
Yeah, them charges.
no.
I ain't gonna go there, but them charges
She ain't
are good.
she ain't as fine as Giselle. That's all I can tell you. And Foxborough, that New England Patriots team, whether you want to talk about the relationship strain, whether he wants Tom out of there, no. The marriage is the marriage, and you're not going to downplay yourself and go somewhere else. And these other teams, no, they don't. I don't really stand a chance to get Tom Brady. That's my opinion on it. You ain't giving up Giselle. Stop.
I'm not surprised because the game has evolved. It's a different game now. Tom Brady is great. I love watching him. Obviously, he's one of the best, maybe the best to ever do it. But the game has changed. When you look at all the top quarterbacks in the league right now, what can they do?
They can run.
They can run. They can extend plays with their legs. They're dual threat type quarterbacks, and that's not Tom Brady's forte. And I think, you got to look at also the risk reward, because I do believe right now Tom Brady can be a little bit of a fool's gold, because you're looking at the body of work and saying, well, man, look what we getting, right? But you're not getting that. The Patriots got that,
Right.
and Belichick got that. Yeah. You're not getting what comes along with that.
That's the old beauty queen.
Yeah, you might sell some tickets in the seats, but on the flip side, how much are you really going to be able to win, with the 43-year-old quarterback who's declining in a game that has significantly evolved, and it's not the pocket passer traditional game when he was winning those Super Bowls?
I think that there are a handful of teams. It only takes one team.
Right.
I mean, it takes one team to want you, right? That's what it takes. But I think there are probably a handful of teams realistically that aren't interested. You know why? Because they're like, why would we mortgage our future on a 43-year-old quarterback when our roster isn't built to succeed with a 43-year-old quarterback? We don't have the O-line. We don't have the running game. We don't have the defense. We don't have whatever. And there are a bunch of teams. Like, you think Tom Brady's going to Jacksonville? No, he ain't, right? Like, so there's a bunch of teams, when you look at it realistically, where he doesn't fit. Yeah. Now, are there a couple of teams that are ready-made for a guy like Tom Brady? Hey, I'll tell you what, the Tennessee Titans, with the offensive line they have, the running game they have, some of the young players they have, that makes sense to me. Yeah. The Chargers, if they draft one of these top-notch left tackles, right, they've got the weapons to be able to make that happen for Tom Brady. So there's a couple teams. And that's all it takes. It takes one.
You only need one.
It just takes one.
But the engine driving this is disingenuous. It's not Tom Brady or his interests or interests coming from teams to Tom Brady. It's the media. We watch it on TV. We hear it. We read it. Tom Brady to the Titans. Why? They got a 32-year-old who resurrected their season and took them to the AFC Championship game. He's not going to Tennessee. Oh, well, him to the 49ers. Garoppolo beats Tom Brady in every major statistical category last year. And when he's not there, they win 2 games or 4 games. When he is there, they're in the Super Bowl leading in the 4th quarter. I just don't like how we are pushing Tom Brady everywhere. And then when he lands either in New England, as LeVar always says, or one other team, we're saying there wasn't much interest. There wasn't a robust market. It's like, what do you mean? This is only a 2 or 3 team race to begin with. Don't make it seem like more.
You know what else is interesting about this whole scenario? If he goes to Tennessee, you run the risk of him being just as much a disruptive factor in force versus a building force. If he goes to the 49ers, you have the same situation that exists. Why? If he goes to Tennessee, he's going to be with his peer, his constituent, his colleague. Yeah. That's his head coach now. That's not your teammate anymore. That's your coach, right? Yeah. I don't know how that relationship dynamic plays out once you get into the meeting room, once you get into the heart of the battle, once a game isn't going well or the season isn't going well. How does that work out? Shanahan, he's young. All right, still impressionable, still learning, still trying to form exactly what it's going to take to be that type of a successful coach, already having the success that he's had. You put Tom Brady into that situation, it could ruin him.
Yeah.
It could ruin that coach.
Yeah, but we've all been in this position before. Let's go back to all of our free agencies, whether it's in broadcasting or even on the football field. And I remember hearing reports. I was at ESPN and people were telling me, I'm going here, here, and here. I was like, no, I'm only talking to Fox. I'm talking to Fox and Fox only. And then when I go to Fox, they're like, oh, well, that's the only place that. Nah, that was all false reporting. Yeah. There was not that. I think Tom Brady is going to be victim of all this false reporting that makes it seem like he's slighted. Yeah. To your point, he has regressed. His passer rating in 2017 was 102. Now it's down to 88.
You love bringing this up.
Hey, man, but he's been to 2 Super Bowls and won 1. But like Reggie said, that's what New England benefited from.
They benefited.
What you're going to grab is the 88 passer rating dude. And I don't care if you're a GOAT or not. That's not exactly what you want. Marcellus Wiley here. Whitlock is off today. I'm joined now by Fox NBA analyst Slick Rick Dubuker and 3-time NBA champ BJ Armstrong. Time now for a big story sponsored by Kentucky Fried Chicken and Donuts. Whoa. Get them with tenders for $5.49 or as a sandwich. Order at KFC.com. Let's talk about the Lakers, who were riding high this week after taking down my Clippers, but they got dropped last night by a Nets team struggling through some serious issues, with LeBron missing a game-tying layup before Anthony Davis clanked a potential game-winning 3 at the buzzer. So the question is, any cause for concern after this Lakers loss? I'm going to say yes, and I'm not going to go too extreme on this one because I think that their cause for concern is in their third scorer, like having a reliable third scorer. I hear a lot of Laker fans say, oh, we got AD, we got LeBron, and then someone else will step up.
Right.
Well, let's talk from Frank Vogel's perspective. He would like to know who's going to always step up. And that's the issue I saw last night. Once again, you have Kyle Kuzma as your best third scorer. And it's been Danny Green at times. It's been Avery Bradley against the Clippers. But that carousel is not something that you can rely on. And I think that's an issue what I saw with the Lakers. The workload for AD and LeBron is heavier than any other team that we're really thinking is a contender, especially the Clippers. So I think that bench scoring needs to step up in a reliable third scorer. That's what I saw.
I'm not worried about the scoring, but yes, it is cause for concern because it was so predictable. I said yesterday that the Nets were going to give them a game. And after what they did to the Bucks and the Lakers, and you look at the Nets, and while I think they have solved their problems, they've moved on, and they've consolidated, the fact of the matter is, I knew that LeBron was going to be half-stepping in this game. I knew that he wasn't going to take it as seriously as he took the previous 2 because there wasn't as much at stake. I'm not worried about the scoring. What I'm worried about is when LeBron decides, you know what, I'm going to kind of mess around with this game. Everybody else on the Lakers messes around with the game. Yeah. And then he flipped the switch later. The rest of this team isn't talented enough to flip the switch. So my problem is that they go exactly as LeBron goes. They don't have anybody else who is going to be the motivating factor, who is going to stir the pot, who is going to provide that energy, or, dare I say, go to LeBron and say, hey, dude, we got a game to win here. Like, name me somebody on that coaching staff or on that roster who, when LeBron decides, you know what, I'm going to kind of dance with Taurean Prince a little bit here. What are you doing dancing with Taurean Prince? What are we doing? That's going to go, hey, look, let's take this seriously.
Stop playing.
Let's go after, get it. It didn't happen last night, and I dare say I don't see that guy on that roster that is going to do that.
So we want to make sure we get this question right.
There we go. That's a yesterday.
We get this question right.
You want to make sure you get
Is there any concern
right.
with the loss yesterday to the Nets?
Yes.
My answer is no.
Okay.
No. Because are we supposed to assume by those 2 wins over the weekend that the Lakers have been crowned champions? I know there was a lot of theatrics and
some people did.
Some people crowned them.
A lot of people
said
in my mentions.
I was just going to say.
A lot of people said the Lakers were the champion, but this is the NBA. This is where you have to bring it every single night, and let's be humbled by the fact that you can be beaten in this league by any team. That we know. Okay. Now, the Lakers, for sure, what they did accomplish is to show everyone that they are serious. They did put their name in the hat of a lot of teams, right? In particular, we're talking about the Clippers, we're talking about the Lakers, we're talking about Milwaukee, who are teams who really feel they have a chance to win. So I think if anything, that they have been humbled to know that, no, even though they did win this weekend, that nothing has been accomplished. And I think right now, game on.
I can hear where you're coming from because I want to push back but also give you some props too, Rick. I want to push back on the Lakers' mentality and LeBron kind of lollygagging because when you get into a playoff setting, no matter who you play, if it's Memphis, Lakers, Memphis, 1-8, they're going to be fully loaded, fully engaged. Like in the playoffs, all the jokes are aside. It's time to go get real. So even if LeBron wants to jog through a post-Clippers Milwaukee game against the Nets, he can't have that luxury in the playoffs.
Right.
But I will give you props for it's an issue with this team that no one has enough job security enough internal fortitude, enough to just stand up to LeBron and say, hey, man, we got 82 of these. If you're going to step out here, let's get it right. No one can step to LeBron. LeBron has to lead that, and if he's not in that position of leading it, no one's going to do any different.
Sure.
I like that point.
Well, the other, and I'm reminded of this just because of the Warriors, and we're going to talk about one of their guys in a little bit, which is that Draymond Green was the fire starter for them. Like Steph Curry is looked at as the leader, and they had different guys over the course of their 5-year run that would step up. But Draymond Green was the guy, may not have been the most talented, but if Steph wasn't bringing it, if Clay wasn't rotating, whatever, he was the guy who would say, hey, look, let's play. Let's get going. Mark Jackson was doing that initially as the head coach. Steve Kerr is capable of that. I just don't see that element outside of LeBron with this team. Other guys who are going to say, hey, listen, we need to collectively step up. That puts a lot of burden on LeBron James. And even with the Clippers, I don't see that. And I haven't seen that with previous LeBron James teams. They've had other leaders who could step up and say, this is the way we need to play.
They're so emotionally dependent on LeBron, and some of them job dependent on LeBron. Like, AD is here because they gave up the farm for him, and LeBron's like, you always owe me one for getting you here, right? I mean, you look at the coaching staff, Frank Vogel, after the game is saying, hey, my guys tried. No, they didn't. If they tried, they would have won that game easily, but he can't say it. No player. I've not seen anyone walk up to LeBron and say, hey, bro, what's up? Jason Kidd is the only one I see on staff that looks like he has that moxie, can do it. But even Jay Kidd is like, I don't want to disrupt because of my reputation, and I don't want to upset the apple cart.
Well, the other part is as the assistant coach, that's not your role. Your role is you're the connector. You're the player's friend, and you're not the guy who's cracking the whip. Once you change that seat, then it's different. And besides, if Jason's doing that, then people are going to look at him some kind of way because they're going to feel he's overstepping his boundaries when it comes to Frank.
Now, BJ, you see that dynamic as an issue even in the playoffs for them to contend.
Right.
Don't they need someone to challenge LeBron internally?
Well, as I look at this team, the one thing that I've said and I've often said with this Lakers team is, where's the trust in the locker room if this team doesn't win? Who's going to be responsible and who's going to take on that responsibility? And when you have a leader like a LeBron James because of his personality, when you see the players in the locker room kind of looking around and we're still asking questions, who's the third scorer, who's this, who's that, this is going to be a problem. I think there's a trust issue in the locker room because if they don't win, who's going to be responsible? Because we can't say LeBron James didn't do his job. Is it going to be, are we going to toss that to Anthony Davis? Are we going to toss that to Kuzma or the bench or what have you? One of the unique things that happened during the Clipper game that I thought Doc Rivers said that was very interesting is when they asked him why did they bring out Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and he said, because we trust our bench. And I thought that was to me said everything about that game. Where is the trust factor with the Lakers right now? Even though they did win, Doc Rivers said, I trust you guys, and we're going to win together, and we're going to lose together.
Yeah, LeBron is the king, but he can't do everything. Marcellus Wiley and LeVar Arrington joined now by Super Bowl champion, Chiefs defensive end Frank Clark. And, man, congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, y'all did that thing, but it was tight. It got crunchy. You guys were in the fourth quarter down 10. Tell the truth. Mindset, what were you guys thinking when you're down 10 in the fourth?
Oh, man, we going home. At the end of the day, you put yourself in that position. You prepare, you practice, you do all this stuff leading up to the Super Bowl, just to win, to call yourself a winner, and all that stuff went out the window. We started the game everything going in the opposite way, you know, that we playing. And that's not how you want to start. You know, you like I said, you work so hard to get to this point. Man, you got people before you who want you to win, who want you to, you know, take advantage of this opportunity that you're getting. And man, it just seemed like everything was going out the door. You know, everything was just bad. And we going there at halftime. You listen to them coaches, you talk about making adjustments, and man, I feel like we made some of the best adjustments that, you know, anyone could have ever made in the Super Bowl.
So in that moment, you were thinking going home meant with an L, or are we going home? You're down 10. You're like, it's over.
It was if we don't make the changes necessary, then it's over. With this season, all this stuff that we've been talking about and preaching and everything that coach preaches, and you know, on a week-to-week basis, it doesn't mean nothing if we don't go in here and make the changes that we need to go ahead and get this W.
Frank, there's a lot of personality and identity that goes into being able to execute changes after that type of start in the Super Bowl. Many have attributed the mentality shift, the culture shift on the defense to you and Tyron. Can you talk a little bit about what that looked like? What went into that identity change?
Man, you can say me and Tyron, but you start with the head of it all, Coach Spags.
Okay.
You know, and our
Spags,
defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
you know,
Spags.
if you know Spags, as a on a personal level, you know, as a coach, then as a man, you know, you understand that Coach Spags loves his football, but he loves, you know, his players in general. You know, Coach Spags, he's inviting guys to the house. You know, he wants you to come and, you know, come enjoy that and enjoy that time, you know, that one-on-one time with him, so he can learn you about, you know, learn you as a player. You know, and I learned him as a person. That was the best thing about Coach. And like I said, it started with him. Then he talks to guys like me and Tyron. We had dinner over his house one evening. And he invited us over and we had dinner, and a few other guys, Hitch, you got Anthony Hitchens in there. You know, so it's a host of guys, even on the defensive line. You know, I know myself, you know, the guy who gets paid and, the high-profile guy usually gets all the love, but I got guys like Alex Okafor, you know, Emmanuel Agba, you know, who are great football players who don't get talked about as much, but, you know, Chris Jones, you know. I know we don't want to talk about Chris Jones, but, you know, contract stuff going on, but another guy, and just having these guys around, and like you said, you bring me and Tyron together, these two, you know, two crazy guys, their head cut off.
You mentioned Chris Jones and the contract negotiations. What does this team, after experiencing what you guys experienced in the Super Bowl, what do you guys need to do in order to keep that momentum going to try to get another one?
I feel like keeping everything in-house. And if you understand that phrase, you know, you understand what I'm saying when I say keep everything in-house. That's, you know, there's certain things that go on in the building. There's certain things that go on within the locker room.
You gotta stay there.
You know, that gotta stay there. You know, whether it's the, you know, certain things, how you run a team, or, you know, your quarterback, you know, different questions surrounding your coach or stuff like that. There's certain stuff that just need to stay, you know, within the organization to keep, you know, that camaraderie.
All right, you said everything needs to stay in the house, but one thing that got out the house is Patrick Mahomes' upcoming deal. And look, you just got paid $105 million. I'm putting your numbers out there. $105 million, 63 guaranteed. Yes, ladies, she's out here. He says that he may look into a hometown discount, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically he's going to do the deal that's right for him and for the team. For a guy who got paid top dollar, what would you say as advice to Patrick Mahomes?
Like he said, do what's best for him. You know, I feel like he had to do what's best for him. Yet you always want to think about the team. You always want to put the team first and things like that. But in regards to getting your paper and getting your money, you know, you always want to go ahead and get your money and get what you deserve. You know, you work so hard. You spend your whole life, you know, to get to this point. When I say get to this point, I mean in the NFL. You won a Super Bowl, man. You don't want to. How many kids can you say, what, he's 23, 24 years old? You can say you won a Super Bowl, you won a Super Bowl MVP, and you're in the NFL League MVP.
Does this make him the face of the league this past season?
Man.
Lamar Jackson.
I feel like it does. I feel like it does. Some would say, some like
MVP this year?
LJ. Some like LJ. I mean, who won the Super Bowl MVP?
Don't do this.
I feel like that Super Bowl MVP mattered more.
In his third year, we'll get Lamar this third year. What's going to happen?
I get Lamar. I get runner up.
Okay.
Runner up. I can't give him no Super Bowl MVP yet, but no, man. Hats off to Lamar. He had a hell of a season, man. Hell of a season. He had the whole NFL. Everybody watching him play football this year, you know. But you can't fail to mention, man. After that 11-12 game at the Tennessee, y'all start watching the Chiefs a little bit more too.
Yeah. Okay. Look. I mean, it took us back to the beginning of the season when we were all thinking Chiefs in the first place. So we respect that. But Patrick Mahomes. Another thing that got out the house, bro. He talking about he couldn't read defenses until last season.
He on the shop cutting up. No.
What's your response to that? You believe that?
I mean, I honestly do. it's a lot of things. You'll be surprised. I mean, you guys understand. You know, as being former guys, you understand how guys are in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's some guys who don't look at a lick of film, but go out there and go ball on Sundays. And I'm not saying that's what he does, but you know, coming from a guy of his stature and of his caliber, you know, him saying that, it just lets you know how hard he works on the other parts of his game. I mean, he says he's not studying defenses, and you wonder, what is he doing? You know, as a defender who's played against him, you know, a lot of guys have played against him on the Chiefs. I played against him. I've seen what he done to us. I watched the man cut us up a little bit. You know what I mean? We got the win, but that man cut us up. And just seeing the things he do, you would be so surprised to understand that. Like, wow, you just started learning how to do that, man.
Now, one of the things that people who play against you know is you're going to come out there and ball, but you're also going to talk some trash.
Yeah.
We got a little video right here. Let's see this. Check this out.
Last 2 games in each game, 70 yards, over 200 yards each game. I know damn well we wasn't going to win the game if we let that happen. They come in here, he ran for 70 yards. They call him the best rusher in the league. We sitting this home early.
I posted the comments that you said to me, and all over social media, everybody said you better watch your back, that you're saying things that you can't cash. Everybody on social media saying,
they must not know who I am yet. They gonna find out sooner or later when I got that ring on my finger. At the end of the day, we champions. AFC, that trophy that got my own the last name on it, that the KC. That KC, ain't no fall off. Last year, jump off sides, all that. I told him when I got here, the gonna change. Look at we the best.
Man, you was in the zone right there.
It was lit.
Now,
It
look,
was
you're
lit.
talking about Derrick Henry post-game AFC Championship game on the way to Super Bowl, but how does trash talking like that help your game?
Man, honestly, for me, it's a mental thing. You know, I know how to take a guy out the game mentally. I can be so strong physically, but honestly, over my career, I had to learn how to do other things when I wasn't feeling too good out there as my body as a whole. You know, you got to understand, you playing the whole season, you doing different things, you trying to learn different things, you pick up certain things off your vets. But my body's not feeling good. So I got to understand, I can't just beat a guy all the time with strength. I'm facing 320, 330-pound O-linemen every play. You know, at times I'm at a disadvantage. I'm 250. You know, I'm at a disadvantage, you know, at times a lot. You know, these guys bench pressing all type of stuff. So, you know, I had to find out a different way to beat them. And that's what I kind of started figuring out as I went on in my career. You know, it started in Michigan, then, of course, in Seattle. You know, I'm playing with the Legion of Boom. Got to think who I'm playing with, man. I got Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Bobby Wagner, this type of defense. You know, Richard Sherman, Michael Bennett, Cliff Avery. I want to stop because I can keep going.
Yeah.
But I got all these guys who's teaching me how to play football on the NFL level. And just to be around these guys, of course, I'm learning trash talk, and it just carried over, man.
Mind over matter, it sounds like right there.
Mind over matter.
You said Michigan. We all know you went to Michigan. Another guy who went to Michigan, Tom Brady, man. Some reports he may join the division.
TB12.
If TB12 is a Charger in the same division, how would that feel going against the GOAT twice a year?
Oh man, I played him twice in my career, but then to be able to go against him twice in in the division, honestly, I'm a competitor. So I would love to be on the opposing side of the, with the winning team. So I feel like, of course, you want to wish everyone their best of luck, and I do in his, in his journey. This is crazy for him. It's crazy watching Tom Brady, in free agents. Right. We grew up watching him play for the Patriots his whole career. Yeah. You watch everything he do as Patriot, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. It's gonna be crazy to honestly see him on a different team this year. I can't believe it's happening.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Honestly, I feel like he's gonna go ahead and hang it up. I don't know, but I feel like it's not.
Oh, so you're on record thinking he's gonna retire?
I would hope. I mean, you give 6 Super Bowls later, and you one team. That's real. GOAT status. Yeah. I watched Kobe Bryant do that.
That's real.
I watched him win 5 rings with one team.
Mm-hmm. You're a super mild-mannered dude, man. Very, very soft-spoken. Talk to me about from your angle, because a lot of times people can't understand or comprehend the amount of passion that came through in that post-game interview, and how you are right now on stage. What's going through your mind? Because I know for me, I'm pretty mild-mannered at times, but I could be turned up too. Going into your preparation, going into the games, what is it more, mild-mannered, or is it more let's turn up? Like, how do you tap into how good and how great you are when you get out there on the field?
I believe it's more mild-mannered. My coaches, I just started talking more this year. My coaches, Coach Reed, a lot of my coaches, they they told me I got to talk more. You know, I
got 105 million. You better say
use
something.
my voice more. You know, I sit in the locker room. I really don't. You know, not the locker room. I said the building. I sit in the building. I'm always with the vibes. I'm in the vibes of things, the energy.
Okay, right.
You know what I mean? So it's all about how everybody feeling. It's about how everybody. It's how you wake up. You know, how you come to work. You know, and then just going through it. What music we got playing out here today, you know, at practice, you know, during 2-minute drill.
We didn't have that when I played. But
No, we did.
I've been jealous.
Old school. A-tracks.
You know,
They had
in
A-tracks.
2015,
I'm
stuff
not
start
happy about
changing.
that.
You know, stuff start changing, man. We trying to get explicit rap in the new CBA, too.
Right.
You know?
Let us use the words, right?
But no, yeah, just the main thing is just being able to, you know, just understand. You know, it's a certain level of understanding you got to be able to go to. Like you said, you mild-mannered here, but then being able to tap into that level, you know, through your preparation. It's trusting your preparation. I work so hard.
Is
I
it
say it all the
infectious?
time.
Do you find it to be infectious the way you are?
It is.
How,
I feel like it
how
is.
much does that play into, like, your teammates buying into you and buying into the belief of what you got? Because a lot of people didn't say y'all was going to be the defense in the Super Bowl. They said it was the Niners, right? And y'all showed up and y'all showed out and gave the team a chance to win it while the Niners lost it. So is that personality coming through in those moments that you're talking about right now?
I knew my team needed me more than ever then. You know, these are moments where, like you said, you get paid $105 million. You know, if you ain't did nothing all year, you better do something now.
Right.
That's kind of was the situation.
True.
You know, so yeah, I am in my eyes, and in a lot of people's eyes, yeah, you could say Frank had a bad, season or, an average season, compared to the type of player he is, but you say he had probably the best season out of all defensive ends in that postseason. And I feel like that's where that money counts, and that's where everything matters.
Time now for Darnell's question of the day. Take it away, big dog.
Yes, sir. Let's talk Draymond Green, who's been going at it with Charles Barkley this week. Chuck has been clowning Green all year, and Draymond just fired back, saying he's going to take Barkley's job and that the Hall of Famer can't talk basketball with him because he has no titles. Well, Barkley didn't take that too lightly and responded yesterday. Check this out.
But he's like in the boy band, who's lucky to be in the boy band, and like he think all the girls are screaming for him. And like, no, they're screaming for Justin Timberlake. You're just in the band. Enjoy being in the band because you're never going to have any hit singles.
I want to ask you guys, do you like Barkley's clap back at Draymond?
I do, man, because I think Barkley always keeps in mind that we're in the entertainment business, you know? Like, let's laugh at ourselves and let's laugh at even things that we criticize and laugh with those we criticize. But Draymond took it a little more seriously than I think that he should in those moments. So we all go home to wives and kids. We all go home to our apartments, condos, mansions, whatever it may be. But when we come to work, like, I like the fact that he laces everything with a little jest. And that's why I side with Barkley more.
I loved it because I loved the analogy, and it was funny, right?
Right.
But he's basically saying that Draymond Green is Lance Bass. He's saying he's Ringo Starr. He's saying he's Tito Jackson.
Tito, not Tito.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to take that personally, okay?
Facts are facts, Rick. Facts are facts.
That's going too far. By the way, is that an Elizabeth Warren hoodie?
Oh, this is Warren Central. Not Don't do that.
We getting way political up here.
Come on now.
Hey, I'm not mad at you. I'm just asking questions.
Got the whole East Side out here, Rick.
But here's the thing. This is the part that would bother me if I'm Draymond. Where Chuck is getting it wrong. Because Draymond's never pretended to be a star. He's never pretended that he's better than Clay, that he's better than Steph.
That's real.
So he's not out there going, hey, look at me. Now, was an MVP candidate. He was, a Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
Okay. Yeah.
He was the quarterback of that team winning championships. Like, Draymond has reason to feel himself to say, I was part of a championship team. He's never said more than that. And Chuck is suggesting that he has. And that's where I think Chuck is being unfair. And if I'm Draymond, I'd be willing to cut
Draymond
back.
did win Defensive Player of the Year, too.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
You know, I'm a little torn with this because I have a unique perspective with both.
Ooh.
You know, I'm
listening.
good friends with Charles Barkley. And in full disclosure, I represented Draymond Green. I think both of them would care to admit they're more similar probably than they are different.
Good point.
Like that.
Okay, and the one thing about it that I will say is I definitely understand Draymond's response because as a veteran, we have a responsibility to leave this game better than when we found it. And for Charles to make fun of Draymond in this instance, I'm sure hurt Draymond's feelings because whether he wants to admit it or not, he looked up to Charles Barkley. They're both 6'4", they're both 6'5", and I think that is something that really kind of cut him to the core. And I know Draymond and I know Charles, and I would hope, because I'm from a different era, where if you have a problem with someone, that you should go talk to them. And I hope both of them can find a way to collaborate, because they're both good people. They're both very funny. What Charles said was very funny.
Very.
And Draymond is very funny, as you
Yes.
know. And I would hope that they can figure this one out.
I like that. I'm glad we are all together because you opened my eyes. I thought that, look, first of all, hearing triple single is hilarious.
Right.
Like, it's not funny to do it, but it's funny to hear it. I thought that Draymond was hurt because it was true, not so much that he looked up to Barkley. It seemed like when you respond, when you're bothered, when you're really upset, it's because they hit you with the bullseye.
Right.
And so Draymond realizes, look, I'm undermanned out here. And the narrative before this season was always, hey, man, you riding Clay's wave, KD's wave, Steph's wave.
Right.
So this was the year it felt like that Draymond said, if those guys are gone, I'm still going to get mine. Matter of fact, I'm going to get more than I've ever got. And then in the middle of that act, which we're realizing you're not going to get yours, Barkley puts a spotlight on it. So I thought it cut him more than he just looked up to Barkley.
I don't know that Draymond ever thought that this was going to be his year and he was going to lead them someplace. He knows that.
No, get his numbers, I meant. Not so much lead him, but I'm going for mine.
Even that, he knows that what his numbers came from. Look, he led that team in assists.
Yeah.
His function was, I know how to be the quarterback defensively. Look, he protected Steph in pick and rolls. He protected them as the defensive quarterback. And offensively, he was the guy who was clever enough and had a high enough basketball IQ. When you guys get open, I'm going to be able to get you easy buckets because I can get you the ball. But I know it's your shooting and your ability that drives that. So I never thought for a second that Draymond thought that, oh, now I get to show. Now I get to shine. And the triple single really was, come on, man. I never was a triple-double guy. I never put myself in the Russell Westbrook camp.
Yeah.
I got triple-doubles, and I got it in the finals. Going up against LeBron James, I never made a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
And now you're going to clap back on me because I'm not getting those numbers? That's where I think Draymond was hurt. I never pretended to be this guy, and you're saying I did, and now I'm not, and I've been exposed. You're creating a narrative that I actually didn't create.
Well, the former player in me, the broadcaster in me, and the fan in me wants this to continue.
Oh, amen.
Let me just say that. My prayer hands are together and hoping that y'all don't stop this. Welcome back. Marcellus Wiley here, joined again by Reggie Bush, LeVar Arrington, and Mark Schlereth. Let's move to my Chargers, who just gave running back Austin Eckler a new 4-year deal worth $24.5 million, which means Melvin Gordon is now expected to become a free agent. But Eckler is rooting for his old teammates, saying he hopes Gordon gets paid because guys like him and Derrick Henry need to reset the market for running backs, which has cooled off in recent years. Chill out, Reggie. So the question is, has the value of running backs been diminished? And I would say yes, obviously, and rightfully so.
Rightfully so?
Rightfully so. Look,
What you mean by that?
I'm going to give you this. Here, it's first down. I got 4 yards to get right now just to make it 2nd and 6. Should I run the ball and let 8 people hit you with an average weight of 250 pounds because the D linemen, linebackers, or quick screen, you go get your 4 yards, only get tackled by one guy who weighs 180. It's more than the analytics. It's just the path of least resistance. And I think that's what's really supporting the numbers in terms of diminishing returns with running backs and diminishing value. It's because it's just in a game of acreage, where it's a great game of skill, but a greater game of will, to move men against their will in the box is much more difficult than just saying, here you go, receiver, here you go, tight end. And I think that's what's really supporting why running backs don't get the amount of money. For my money and my team, if I'm calling plays, I'm trying to skew it heavily towards the passing game than the running game.
Go. And you know, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that about the difference in playing in the box and then playing at receiver, because I also thought that towards the end of my career, maybe the last 2 years of my career, I should have made the shift to slot receiver, because I felt like if I did that, I'd still be playing football now. And you do make a great point, because now linebackers are what, 230, 225.
Sometimes they're your size now.
Safeties. Tyrann Mathieu, 5'9"?
Yes.
195 maybe. So I do see your point, to that extent. And I do also believe that the value of the running backs has been significantly diminished. And the point I use, and it's because teams feel like they can go younger and cheaper, right? You look at Le'Veon Bell. When he was up for a contract, right, he accounted for 49% of that offense, both running the football and catching the football. But the team wanted to box him into a category and say, no, we're just going to pay you as a running back, right? And obviously, I think that's unfair because you put in that body of work, you should get paid like that. But to your point, though, I do believe, again, that the value has been diminished, and running backs like Derrick Henry do need to reset this market.
Yeah, I picked up a fumble once and ran with it, and I thought I was going to score. And I got hit by about 17 dudes. They brought dudes off the sideline to punish me. And I was laying at the bottom of this pile. The only reason I didn't fumble is because it got pinned on my chest. Right? 14 DBs hit me. And I thought to myself, as I was laying on the pile, note to self, don't ever do that again, you moron. Has it been diminished? You're damn right, because that's a tough position. I will tell you this, the PA, the Players Association, in the last collective bargaining agreement allowed it to happen. I mean, when you put a fifth-year rookie option in there for first-rounders, and then you don't allow guys to renegotiate a contract until after their third season once they've been drafted.
Crazy. Because that's the shelf life of
a running back. That's the shelf life of a running back. So you have actually, in your negotiation, you have hamstrung the running back. Now, I will tell you this. Some of the running game has come back in this league in recent years, especially last year. But 7 of the top 10 rushing teams made the playoffs, by the way.
Right.
Like, if you know how to do it and you have a guy that can punish people, I guarantee you people at the end of a fourth quarter do not want to tackle Derrick Henry.
No.
Yeah.
That dude is straight beasting people. So, I understand the value of that, but certainly it has been diminished, and some of it is the fault of us as players. Right? We let it happen.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with the rules as well. I mean, in trying to make it a safer game and make it a more fan-friendly, mom-friendly game for participation, you've changed all these rules. And then in the NFL, there are a whole lot more rules that are going against defenders that make it easier to move the ball in different places. So I think you touched on a very important fact. Yes, the running back's position is diminished. It has been diminished, but I still think it's a cycle of it being diminished. It'll come back. It'll cycle through and it'll come back. But as it stands right now, what you're seeing is the guys who are able to have multi-skill sets are the most valued guys. And when you have that type of value, you don't really have to say that, what's the kid, the super fast kid for Kansas City?
Tyreek Hill?
Tyreek Hill, right?
Which one?
You don't right, exactly.
All of the above.
You don't have to put a position title on a Tyreek Hill. You don't have to put one on a Reggie Bush, right? You don't have to put one on a Saquon Barkley. Strong enough, fast enough, quick enough to come out of the backfield, skilled enough to be able to catch the ball. Yeah. And I think that's so now when you're looking at has the running back, has the word itself been diminished? I think the word has been diminished more so than the player and what they represent.
And to your point, I think the other thing is we've seen this multiple back, like where we use a bunch of different backs, and we've seen that kind of evolve in the last decade or so. Yeah. I think one of the things, and coming back into prominence, when you have a guy that's big enough to tote it between the tackles and strong enough to do that, also skilled enough to catch out of the backfield, to motion out, to be a slot receiver, to be outside the numbers.
You're talking about that play with Debo, right?
But being
able to bring him in on a power.
Ultimately, though, to be able to take on a 240-pound linebacker in a blitz, where you never, ever have to let the defense dictate to you. You can say, hey, man, we can run it out of this. We can throw it out of this. We can blitz pick up out of this. And when you have that multiple, and that's why I think it's going to come back. I think you're going to start seeing more backs that are more skilled at doing everything.
Yes.
And I think that's what's going to end up happening.
To me, what's fascinating about this game, if you really look at it in detail, is the evolution of the game and evolution of positions. The NFL doesn't always get it right and always certainly will watch a position evolve, certain positions. Let's go back. Remember the days when the running back, all you do was hand the ball off, hand the ball off. And then Roger Craig came out like, can you throw me the ball too as well?
Yeah.
And then that changed. I remember when I was coming out, Every DN had to be 6'4", 280, play the run and the pass.
Right.
And then here's Jason Taylor in my draft. And I remember going back to my room like, if they draft me before him, they stupid. And they did. And I was like, they are dumb. Because he was this pass rush specialist, this edge rusher before his time. And they called him a tweener. And they used to use that against him instead of for him. What's happening now? There's nothing but edge rushers. Yeah. I think running back is going through that transition right now of trying to figure out how it fits in today's NFL, and quarterback as well. Yeah. Now, it's not getting devalued, but we're looking at quarterback a lot differently
because
now.
That quarterback can handle the duties of a running back.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know
So I think all those things really support. Look, there's going to be ebbs and flows in terms of your value until we can really solidify what you look like in the game going forward. And I just being real, I played running back my entire career, including college, small school, my senior year. When you're in that box, there is hell to pay. When you're out there, you catch 6 or 7 balls and run a bunch of fly routes and be a decoy, man, it's paradise. Yeah. And I think
unless there's a DB from Philly, right?
Yeah.
It smacks you.
And that's what
Drew set me up on that one. That was a zone blitz. Right. They were supposed to run with the receiver and he sat.
But to your career, looking at your career all the way through, you came in the league catching a lot more passes.
I had 90 receptions my rookie year.
I saw that. What happened? Why did Reggie Bush evolve into what was yesterday instead of what's going forward?
Oh, well, yeah, that is a great question.
Why?
Well, you talking about why
fewer catches, and why that when you have that skill set?
You know what? Because when I was in New Orleans, that was the game plan, right? With Sean Payton. Sean wanted to use me in that sense of catching more out of the backfield because we had Deuce McAllister when I got drafted.
Right.
So
Power back.
They still wanted power backs with smaller backs, but the power back was the primary back and the smaller back was like the secondary back, right? Then as I got to Miami, right, they wanted, and that was 5 years later, they wanted a back that can do a little bit of everything, right? And so I ran the football a lot and also caught the football a lot. And then when I got to Detroit, it was a little bit more of a finesse, right? So the point I wanted to make was this is a finesse league right now. Yes. We're seeing defenses players get smaller, right? Smaller in size, right? And so that's why I think the run game is really taking off. When you got a running back like Derrick Henry, who's bigger than all your linebackers, nobody wants to tackle him for 4 quarters, right? And then I use another perfect example was Christian McCaffrey, right? Yeah. What he's doing right now. He's doing all those things. And I think to your point, the run is going to come back, or I think the position, the value of the running back is going to come back. It's just going to take guys like Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey. They got to reset the market because they are the workhorses of those teams.
Yeah, I love how Austin said, go reset the market, but don't do it in L.A. because you gone. Melvin Gordon, go get your money somewhere else. Welcome back. Marcellus Wiley here, Reggie Bush, LeVar Arrington, and Mark Schlereth. All are back. Let's return to Tom Brady, sponsored by ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Rumors have been flying for weeks that Brady could be headed to Tennessee in free agency. But reportedly, the Titans aren't as interested as everybody thought, with the team deciding to reprioritize signing Ryan Tannehill instead, after Tannehill had a career year and turned the Titans season around. So the question is this the smartest way to win for Tennessee? Yeah. I mean, one, you just like, hey, come here. Where's your birth certificate? Where's yours? Oh, hell no. You 43, 32. And we talk a lot about the numbers, and the numbers are for everybody. Lazy-minded, people could just look at the numbers. Oh, Tannehill looks like he's had better numbers than Tom Brady. Yeah. But let's talk about how he was infectious in terms of giving this team confidence. This team was left for dead before he entered the lineup. And all of a sudden, this team finds itself in the AFC Championship game. And I remind people, he went into camp. He went into the offseason. He was not the starter. Yeah. So he didn't get first-team reps. He's sitting there behind Mariota and just like, okay, thanks for the trade. I'll wait my time and buy my time. Gets inserted in the lineup, and it's an entirely different team. So for me, obviously it's the smart way to win. He's younger, and he did better in that situation.
This was a team that was struggling at times this year. I didn't even personally think that they would make the playoffs. They made a late run for it and got in. But they found something in Tannehill. They found a spark. They found a leader. And as a young new head coach that Mike Vrabel is, and trying to bring a team like the Titans back to a prominent value that they were back when they had Eddie George and Steve McNair and the Freak and all those guys, you want to be able to have that guy that you can depend on. Yeah. And I think that they had that type of kind of back and forth, that type of relationship where you could say, you know what, Vrabel and Tannehill have that type of magic that would actually unseat a Mariota and say, let's move forward with this guy and see how far we can take that. So I think as it stands right now, he certainly would be the more valuable or best fit for going forward than it would be for bringing in Tom Brady.
Yeah, and you also have to look at the risk reward too with Tom Brady versus Tannehill, because if you sign Tom Brady and Tannehill goes and balls out somewhere else and it doesn't work out with Tom Brady, well, now you're an idiot, and now you might be coaching for your job the next couple of years, right?
Coaching for your job.
If you take the younger, cheaper route with the guy who just had a lot of success, well, then you're a genius, right? It worked out the way it's supposed to, and so you got to go with Tannehill. You got to go with the hot hand. And the other question I always come back to is, would you rather be a year early or a year late on Tom Brady?
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah, there's only one question where if I was to ask one question, there's only one in my mind, right off the top of my mind, where Tannehill's the right answer. Who runs the fastest 40? Right? Like, it's going to be Tannehill.
That's it?
Like,
Yeah.
that's it? But that said,
Tom is pretty fast.
all right, so but here's the deal. Like, here's the deal with Tom Brady. If you think you're in that championship window and it may only be a year, Tom Brady's probably the answer. Like, if it's just about get it in now. But there's a lot that goes into this, and I'll go back to my experience in Denver with Peyton Manning when Peyton Manning was there and Peyton Manning was setting records. And then all of a sudden, Gary Kubiak comes in and becomes the head coach and says, I want you to operate my offense. And now, to be fair, Peyton Manning was injured and there was some issues going on there. But he was horrible in that offense, and he hated that offense. Mm-hmm. And so the wholesale changes that are going to have to take place.
But what happened when he hated that offense? What did they do?
They won a world championship.
No. What did Kubiak and Peyton do? They fought.
They fought.
They fought, but Peyton went away with an injury for a while, came back, they adjusted a little bit, but the bottom line is that defense took them to a championship, okay? Yes. So the point being with Brady, if you are going to go down that road, you've got to take your coordinator and say, hey, you got to run whatever it is that Brady wants to run. Yeah. And that may not actually mesh
for that team, right?
And meld with the personnel that you have, right? And so does he really give you the best opportunity to win? Not unless you're willing to change everything for him.
I think a point to extract from what you're saying, the reason why I said that is in terms of relationship-wise, and I mentioned relationship between Tannehill and Vrabel. Mm-hmm. Vrabel is Tom Brady's peer. And I mentioned this earlier in the show. Yeah. If you come in there and something isn't being done exactly the way Tom wants it to be done, is he going to have that same reverence and respect going to the head coach as he would? And then now, what type of position does that put your head coach in when he's got to decide, do I bow down to the guy that was throwing me touchdown passes and probably is the reason why I'm a head coach right now? Or am I supposed to be a head coach in this situation and do what's best and what's right for this team? I don't think that it's a great situation for Vrabel to find himself potentially in.
And they always tell you, who do you not do business with? Friends and family.
Look, and to add to that point from Vrabel's perspective, look, one, I came out with Vrabel, and I'm not coaching my former teammate because one thing happens is when you work out with somebody, you practice with someone, you play with somebody, you see their issues clearer and faster than everybody. Coach be thinking he's deceived. Evaluators, he's
Tom Brady's feet.
You're like, this dude's sorry as hell, but I ain't gonna say nothing so you can get your money. I wouldn't do it. Welcome back. Uncle Jimmy is here to talk about our approval ratings for Tom Brady.
You.
Oh, but who's the big dummy of the day? I know it is. I know it is.
Big dummy of the day go to the person who used the phrase, kinda turned up.
Yeah, that's him.
I done been to Vegas with you 3 times. When the hell ain't you been turned up?
Man, come on, man.
That's how you do it?
I've been waiting to fit this hat.
And Miami. Oh, yeah, we ain't going to say all that. But let's talk some
Y'all
Tom
tripping.
Brady, limitations.
Who
Talk
was
about
expected
Tom.
to test free agency this offseason, but could be in for a rude awakening. Reportedly, Brady's interest in other teams outweighs the interest other teams have in him. So the question is Is it a lock that Brady ends up back with the Patriots next year?
Oh, man.
Come on, LeVar.
You say it. You want me to say it?
LeVar,
It's a lock. I've been saying it's a lock.
This your thing. Let's
It's
hear
a
it.
lock. And I'm going to look like I'm brilliant because I've been saying it from day one.
All you going to say is a lock? Real deep analysis.
That's it,
right
man.
there. Okay, well,
I
I think he's gone. I think it's a lock that he's gone, and he's going to be an L.A. Charger if you made me roll the dice and say which team. Uncle Jimmy, what you got to say about Tom, the Brady?
Douglas, can I have permission to speak freely?
Oh, yeah, big dog. Go get it. What's up?
Hey, man, Tom Brady done up.
Whitlock, come back, bro.
Now, it ain't no coming back from this.
What? You can't do that, dog. Not on TV.
Hey, man, Tom Brady done spent the last 20 years with the baddest organization in the NFL, the New England Patriots.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Give you that.
Also known as the Belichickian crime family. run by none other than Bill Crazy Lips Belichick.
Belichick.
And now Tom Brady want to say he won out. That's not how this works.
You don't get out.
Huh? Look, man, Brady been doing Belichick's work for all these years. Been his right-hand man. Hey, man, out in the streets, they call him Tommy 6 times.
Ooh.
I love that.
Look, man,
bodies.
he know where all the bodies is buried.
Tommy got
he
bodies.
know how they got there.
Ooh, right.
He know where the cell phones is. He know where the videos is. Hey, man, sometimes you can get in too deep. You can know too much. That's where Brady at right now.
Wow, that's real.
And he just thought he just gonna walk out and become a free agent. Do you think there's a single team in the NFL that's gonna cross Belichick?
No.
The most notorious gangster in the NFL? Hell no. Hey, man, Tom ain't got no chance of signing with nobody. And now Belichick can't even trust him. The Tom know the rules. Hey, man, Tom didn't choose this game. The game chose him.
The game chose him.
Hey, man, there's only one way in and one way out. Look here, now Tom Brady's sitting up here, man, and trying to get into this witness protection program. Have you seen him? Have you seen him since the basketball game with Jillian Edelman?
I ain't seen him.
Vacate.
He's in hiding.
Everybody is coronavirus.
Hey, man, as far as I can see, the only person crazy enough to even hide him is who? Antonio Brown.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
Now that happened.
And y'all know what's gonna happen. AB gonna go Instagram Live from the safe house and gonna get everybody killed. Bottom line, Tom Brady and everybody else know how this gonna end. He gonna get that call from Robert Kraft telling him, hey, I've arranged to sit down with you and Bill. Hey, then that Sam Cooke music gonna start playing in the background.
Yeah.
And you know what's getting ready to happen.
Now go back.
He gonna take off all his rings.
Yeah.
He gonna go kiss Gazelle goodbye on the forehead.
Gazelle.
He gonna go kiss them little badass kids goodbye on the lips.
Brady's kids.
And then he gonna go for that long walk down the driveway. Because he know he about to get fitted for them cement Uggs. The end.
Boy.
The goat's about to get got.
Sing the song.
We done seen this. I was born by the river.
Sing it.
That song. Whoa.
You know what happened when you hear that?
I got him at All-Star, but goodness, 101. How you gonna have him more than the GOAT?
Ever
LeVar.
since.
LeVar.
I got him GOAT.
How you gonna have him more than the GOAT? No, you got him at 101.
I gave him extra credit on all-time greatness.
Come on, Penn State.
He's got to get 26 out of 25 extra credit.
All-time greatness?
Yes.
Man, them rings
But
got you going. Let's see what the world is thinking, what social media
Sing
thinking.
it.
A change
Yeah?
gon' come.
Yeah.
Hey, that song gets me right there.
Yes, it will.
Oh, don't do that, Brady.
Sing it.
Do what you want to do. Belichick don't run the world.